Hello, I'm Ghost. I am your host for the next short while, and we return to the realm of horribly disgusting manga today, something which I last talked about a couple weeks ago with Mei-chan's Daily Life. Mei-chan's Daily Life was a girl manga, which I actually stated I believed was quite solid. Many people will disagree with me on that, but I actually enjoyed it. Now let's talk about a girl manga which I did not feel the same way about. Tasu Shigan, Juan Goto's work, released in 2006, is a girl manga which is rather short and rather underknown. The plot of Tasu Shigan, also known as Applicant for Death, is really quite simple, so I'll quickly go through it. So, a teacher by day is running a snuff business in which people who desire death for sexual reasons will come to her and star in the films. The teacher will kill them on screen. They will, climax, blah blah blah, do all that fun stuff. And, yeah, that's really about it. The first of the two incidents we see is a girl who wants to see her brain spray because ever since she saw footage of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, she can't help but masturbate daily to the idea of being shot in the head. Yeah, so there's that one, which they find a way for her to keep consciousness by giving her a bunch of painkiller and using a very specific gun. I think it's like a Magnum or something, in order to keep her conscious long enough to actually see her brains fly out. We get some crazy panels of all that stuff, and then we get to see, cut to Sora watching the tape of that and being like, man, that's crazy. And then at the end of the video, the teacher's like, yo, Sora, bro, we gave this to you for free. I bet you'd be into it, huh? He wakes up next day, he's like, sorry, sister, but I'm gonna die, because he has a sister, I guess. And then he goes, he's like, hi, my name is Sora, I want to get, decapitated. And then he pulls up and he's like, holy shit, alright, Teach, let's do this shit. And then his sister pops out and is like, sorry, bro, I've been keeping this a secret from you the entire time, but, I love decapitating people. So then he has sex with his teacher, gets decapitated by his sister, and then his sister has sex with his dead body, and then she commits harakiri, and that's the manga.
Courage.
This manga has it all, and truthfully, it's not particularly worth your time. I believe that Goro can have plot, I believe that Goro can be, a lot more than just horrible, gross violence that you're supposed to get off to for some twisted reason. I think it can actually be a unique experience, and it's just like a different strain of extreme media, which you can't really find elsewhere. That being said, this didn't exactly deliver what I was looking for. While I believe that it is creative with its deaths, decapitation, spraying brains out with a handgun, things like that, I believe that A, it was too short to really be able to explore its plot well, and B, I just don't think that it really had any interest in being anything other than violent smut. Which is unfortunate, because I do believe that this type of media can be more than that. That being said, the manga itself certainly does have some strong points. Notably, the art. While obviously I have to be selective with what panels I show you here on YouTube, it's certainly got some actually half-decent art to go with it. And it definitely helps sell the experience as something worth, at least taking a peek at, I suppose, even if I don't necessarily think it's really worth reading through all the way. It is quite short as well, though, which, like I said, means that it doesn't really get to explore its story to the fullest, but it does get to, not be overwhelming with the amount of shit it throws at you, because it's a short dosage of a lot of it, rather than, stretching out a shit ton of it over a long period of time, like something like Mei-chan's. I'm not terribly deep into this Goro scene, because quite plainly, it's not really exactly, something I find myself looking for frequently. But I think, like I said, the genre is interesting, hence why I thought that you know, reading this would be something unique, as I'd come out from reading Mei-chan's, you know, a handful of days prior, and I had enjoyed that enough that I thought, hey, maybe people rate this stuff lowly on my anime list and whatnot, just because it's too extreme for them. I've been around the block with extreme media, maybe I can handle it. And while I definitely could handle it, it just ultimately wasn't all that interesting to me, this piece. Arguably the most interesting part about the read is the snuff film type presentation, with a camera being directly addressed, the blurring, or well, pixelation of the executioner's eyes to keep them anonymous. Things like that help keep the, at least, you know, early portion of the manga kind of interesting, I suppose. It keeps a unique vibe to everything, a tone that you don't really find in most other things. I gotta give it this much, it really does feel dirty reading this, as it's never not showing you either violence, sex, or both at the same time. And while, you know, you can say, sex, that's not too bad, when you realize that the only non-violent sex you get is incestuous in the read, it's a little bit, ooh, okay. So it definitely is a gross read, and, you know, I guess props to the author for, you know, just going dick out, waving it around, going as crazy as he can, you know, he doesn't hold back, you gotta respect that, I suppose, if nothing else. But ultimately, Tasu Shigan just isn't really all it could have been. And, as I've stated, I believe that girl manga can be more than, you know, what it's often boiled down to, because ultimately what it's often boiled down to, you know, violent porn, basically, that is what it is. But I don't believe that viewing it as such is exactly the most beneficial. When I go into it, I'm not, you know, viewing it as just porn, I'm viewing it as a really, really extreme horror story, because that's just the way I am, I guess. So I read it out of more so an interest in getting some really fucked up media than anything else. But I find myself disappointed quite regularly by this type of thing. I do believe that this was a disappointment. But I wanted to talk about it because I want to spark discussion. Read it. Even though I said it wasn't really worth your time, if you made it this far into the video, clearly you're interested. If you think you can handle it, by all means read it. It's not hard to find on the internet, and it'll take a rather short period of time. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Personally, this type of manga, it's very interesting to me, but it's quite inconsistent. Anyway, I'm Ghost. I've been your host. I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you next time.